address you on a matter that concerns the security of our country, the integrity of our law enforcement agencies, and the safety of our people.
What if I told you Africa's richest president lives with more luxury than Hollywood royalty, and his security bill alone could buy a fleet of private jets? Think of boarding a jet with a private bedroom and marble shower. That's everyday life for President Cyril Ramaphosa. On the ground, a bulletproof BMW, a Mercedes-AMG, and a convoy of SUVs move with up to 20 guards. The cost? $400 million a year in security is enough for a fleet of private jets. But how did a boy from Soweto rise from prison to become Africa's richest president? Cyril Ramaphosa's story begins in 1952, in the bustling yet challenging streets of Soweto. Born to Samuel Ramaphosa, a retired policeman, and his wife Dimfo, young Cyril grew up in a home that valued discipline, education, and hard work. The family later moved to Venda, and although life wasn't dripping in wealth, they had something more valuable: determination. He went to Cheli Primary School prior to finishing his secondary education at MFI High School in Venda in 1971. Even at that time, friends mentioned he distinguished himself with his keen intellect and unwavering self-assurance. He wasn't merely another child trying to survive. He was already considering ways to transform the system that restricted so many. Unbeknownst to many, this youth from a humble upbringing would eventually dominate the skies in private jets and navigate the streets in luxury cars with bulletproof protection. If you're feeling inspired by his journey so far, please hit that like button. It truly assists us in delivering more stories like this. In the early 1970s, South Africa was divided by the harsh hold of apartheid, and young Cyril Ramaphosa was determined not to remain in the background. During his time at the University of South Africa studying law, he immersed himself fully in student politics, fueled by a profound commitment to justice. He became a member of the South African Students' Organization, SASO, and the Black People's Convention, both of which were at the core of the anti-apartheid movement. This was no safe debate club. The government had banned protests, but Ramaphosa took his place at the very front lines. In 1974, he paid the price, arrested and locked away for 11 grueling months under the notorious Terrorism Act. Prison was cold, harsh, and designed to break a man, but it didn't break him. 2 years later, history repeated itself. During the Soweto uprising, he was arrested again, enduring another 6 months behind bars. These weren't setbacks, they were fuel. Each arrest forged him into something stronger. To some, he became a target. To others, a symbol of unshakable courage. But few could have guessed that this young man, hardened by prison walls, would one day walk the halls of power and live a life of luxury beyond imagination. After helping to negotiate the end of apartheid as a senior figure in the African National Congress, ANC, Ramaphosa shocked many by stepping away from politics in the mid-1990s. Instead, he turned his sharp mind to business, and it paid off beyond imagination. He became the face of McDonald's in South Africa, securing the master franchise rights. Then came MTN, one of Africa's largest telecom giants, where he served as chairman. But he didn't stop there. Through his company Shanduka Group, he invested in everything from mining and energy to banking and fast food. Quick reminder, if this inside look at power and wealth is blowing your mind, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. By the time he decided to return to politics, he was already worth hundreds of millions. How would this vast personal wealth shape his political career? Was it a safeguard against corruption or a ticket to an even more opulent lifestyle? The answer, as his presidency would prove, was a mix of both. In 2012, Cyril Ramaphosa made a move no one saw coming. He returned to politics after years of dominating the business world. This time, he wasn't the young activist struggling for a seat at the table. He was one of the wealthiest men in South Africa, joining Jacob Zuma's government as vice president. Zuma's presidency became mired in scandal after scandal, and by 2018, the pressure was too much. Zuma resigned, and Ramaphosa stepped into the highest office in the land. It was a moment that stunned the nation. A billionaire president who didn't rely on his government paycheck to live well. His fortune meant he could indulge his personal tastes, whether that was cruising in an armored BMW, flying in private jets, or enjoying the kind of security detail most movie stars only dream about. But wealth in politics is a double-edged sword. To some, it was proof he couldn't be bought. To others, it made him a lightning rod for criticism in a country still battling inequality. And yet, with his unique mix of financial independence, business acumen, and political experience, Ramaphosa was stepping into a chapter where safety costs hundreds of millions, and luxury is simply part of the job description. Securing South Africa's president isn't merely a task, it's an extensive military undertaking. Ramaphosa maneuvers like a world leader from a Hollywood action movie, accompanied by as many as 20 elite security personnel prepared to respond within moments. Wherever he may be, whether in Johannesburg or arriving in a different capital, his security team creates an impenetrable human barrier around him. vigilantly observing all angles for potential dangers. His motorcade is an armored fortress on wheels, consisting of bulletproof BMW 7 Series sedans, fortified SUVs, and a medical ambulance always prepared, able to transform any street into a secure zone within minutes. Each pathway is cleared in advance, and every action is practiced as if in a military exercise. And the price tag? Nearly $400 million a year for the nation's security, with the president's protection as the crown jewel. To put that in perspective, that's enough to buy a small airline's worth of luxury jets or build multiple presidential palaces. If you're enjoying this peek into his world, tap that like button. It tells us you want more deep dives like this. And when it comes to those jets, that's when Ramaphosa's security and luxury take to the skies, literally. The designated presidential aircraft, a Boeing 737, has been operational for many years, a soaring artifact with greater political significance than most galleries. However, upon entering, you'll discover an experience that resembles not an old airplane, but rather a lavish penthouse soaring at 30,000 feet. A personal bedroom featuring fresh white linens, a shower with a marble finish for the president to refresh during the flight, a workspace that also serves as a control hub. The air has a distinct feel here, more serene, regulated, and selective. However, this is not his sole sky palace. When Boeing is in maintenance or considered too old for specific missions, Ramaphosa just opts for one of his least alternatives, the elegant Gulfstream, the dignified Embraer Lineage 1000, or the adaptable Cessna Citation Sovereign. Each features luxurious leather seats, exquisite catering, and the type of soundproof tranquility that makes you forget you're flying between continents. For Cyril Ramaphosa, flying is more than merely traveling from point A to point B. It's about transforming each trip into a display of authority, of privilege, and of visibility. As Africa's wealthiest president, even the heavens should yield to your ease. On the ground, President Ramaphosa's realm of opulence moves on 4 wheels, and occasionally 6. The most valuable gem? A fortified BMW 7 Series, a mobile stronghold valued at more than $100,000, featuring ballistic glass, strengthened panels, and a luxurious leather interior resembling a personal lounge rather than an automobile. It's crafted for both honor and existence, a quiet indication that influence draws attention, and not all of it is welcoming. However, his garage goes beyond that. The BMW X3 M40i combines speed and nimbleness, merging SUV functionality with sports car capabilities. The Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG is a powerhouse, offering unbridled strength with sophisticated elegance, ideal for instances when the president wishes to savor the journey as much as the arrival. Next is the Toyota Hilux Raider, tough, dependable, and prepared for South Africa's harshest landscapes, demonstrating that not every presidential vehicle is focused on luxury. The modest Volkswagen Polo also secures its position, providing subtle comfort for discreet travels. However, when you examine the complete roster, one aspect stands out. Every vehicle is not merely a means of transport, but rather a declaration. Each collection of keys reveals a unique narrative about the person who possesses them. Ramaphosa's wealth distinguishes him from the majority of global leaders, particularly in Africa. Some view his riches as a shield against political corruption. Others doubt if such luxury conveys the wrong impression in a nation with significant economic disparities. The reality is that his way of life reflects contemporary African leadership, showcasing a mix of aspiration, heritage, and opulence. Regardless of whether you appreciate it or criticize it, it cannot be overlooked. From the dusty streets of Soweto to the polished floors of presidential jets, Cyril Ramaphosa's life is a story of resilience, ambition, and unimaginable luxury. But here's the question: is this the sign of progress or privilege? What surprised you most about the insane lifestyle of Africa's richest president? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss more incredible stories like this. Thanks for watching.